Okay, everyone, welcome to Founders and Funders. I am Chandu Nair, member of the Chennai Angels, and with me is Shouvik Dhar, the key founder of Zomoz, the up and coming momos brand.
Thank you so much. Thank you to the Chennai Angels also for inviting me.
But before I start off, Shouvik, I just wanted to go back to your childhood, in, in Assam. You grew up in Silchar, Assam, and unlike most of us, you were exposed to momos at a very young age, correct? And secondly, as a Bengali, for you, that was like, a spicy Rasagulla. Rasagulla is white, momos are white, Rasagullas are round, momos are round, Rasagullas but are sweet, but momos are not sweet. So what drew you to momos, as a kind of a business opportunity?
You're right, sir. Momos and dumplings, in fact, from the part of the country that I am from Silchar, they were very prevalent at that point in time, and they are prevalent still. It was never an intent for me to kind of launch a business around momos. I was very passionate eating momos. I used to go to there was an area in my town called Jhalupada. So there was a Nepali settlement over there, and these people used to make great momos, and I used to love them. But when I moved out of Silchar, all these things stopped. I went to Bangalore, and then I came to Hyderabad when I saw a small momo stall in Hyderabad, and that was, I think, back in 2016 odd, I saw that small stall was doing pretty well. And at that point in time, the exposure to momos and dumplings was very, very low in South India. I thought, okay, if small street vendors are doing so well, in fact, even now, 90% of the market is still very unorganized, especially in this category. Why not create a brand around momos and dumplings? Something that I used to love to eat and I still love to eat. Why not create a business and then see how it goes? And that was how it started.
So my trouble is that whenever I tell people I'm on a seafood diet, which is anytime I see food, I feel like eating it, kind of thing. No, so for me, food is got more than just a what should I call an investment appeal. But what drew me to this particular entrepreneurs and this particular brand was the way they looked at this business. Okay, and what made you think, that this kind of business, which is largely unorganized, barring one or two players like Wow Momos here and there, but it's largely unorganized. I would probably reckon that still it's 95, 97% unorganized with all small stalls, etc. What made you think that this could be organized, and what made you think it could even be a potential national business, and what are the steps that you took to make it kind of organized?
Actually got through to thinking about organizing or, in fact, standardizing the cuisine very early on in the business. So I launched the business just on a whim that, okay, there are not too many players. Let me start a Momo business and see how it goes. This Momo making is a very skilled, labor dependent, and back end heavy process. Each skilled person needs to make momos one by one by hand. Say, for example, right now at this point in time, we are close to making 1 lakh momos a day. Generally, around I would say 7 people make 4,000 momos by hand. If I had to make 1 lakh momos a day using skilled labor, I would have to hire 175 people making momos a day, and that would be mean a salary outflow of about 18K if I pay per employee of about 30 lakhs a month. I used to think about that big number and I thought, there was no way I could scale the business the way, in fact, the market leader has done. So I had to lean back on automating the processes. The most crucial process in this momo making business is making the momos, forming them by hand. And imported a few machines from China. They never worked. I had to reverse engineer these machines. It took about 15 months to make machines that were making momos better than the ones made by hand. So that was the point that I realized, yes, this is the time that I could actually scale this business from this point on. And the unorganized Momo market is still grappling with the unhygienic label that is tagged, especially in this momo category. We had, just a few, in fact, a year back, we had an incident where somebody died having momos on the street in Hyderabad, and that affected our sales as well. So the customer trust in this unorganized momo thela is actually evaporating, and this is a big gap that is being created and is going to be even more prominent as the months go by. And we thought that having a standardized product, a product that tastes good, from a brand that somebody can trust, is something that is need of the hour in this particular category. So I thought, yes, this is, and it's a great headroom for us to grow as well. Since a lot of it is unorganized, if we are able to present ourselves as a brand that people love, this is something that we think is going to be a great shot in the arm for us to grow further.
For you as an individual, after a very, what should I call, a quiet upbringing, relatively, compared to the hustle and bustle of Hyderabad today, of quiet upbringing at Silchar, you then went on to do your engineering at the prestigious NIT. Then
Exactly.
you joined the DRDO as a scientist. But after a few years, you decided, you know what, let me go and try something new. And you went to ISB and became an MBA. And thereafter, I kind of a consultant for some time. And then you said, oh no, I'll become an entrepreneur. I think you became an entrepreneur in 2010. Okay, got
Right.
married in 2016 and then started Zomos. So somebody might say, hey, what's happening, Shouvik? So many pivots in your personal life. Can you just walk us through this journey and, what's finally brought you here with all these pivots?
In fact, I was elated when I got into the DRDO. I specialized in data systems, and I did a lot of good work over there. And a couple of years in the DRDO, I was very, very happy. After that, I went to field trials. I tested the products in in the Air Force bases and naval bases. And 2 months down the line, I realized this was not what I wanted, because the the thrill that was there in making something, that actually was not there in kind of seeing it through to the end, which right now I see is not the way to kind of see how you start a project and then leave it at the end. But then at that point in time, I was young, and I thought, okay, let's do what everybody else does. Okay, finish engineering and then go ahead and do an MBA. And a lot of people do MBA to just find their plan B. The plan A anyway was to get a job, and then plan B was to see what works and what not, and then see how life goes from that point on. And during ISB, the way that I saw my professional life changed. I saw a lot of entrepreneurs who were as batchmates in ISB. They actually, in fact, the professors as well, they gave me that passion that if you can still try to do something on it, and then see how it works. And I started a consulting project. I did a couple of projects after ISB. Then I started an admissions consulting business and moved out of that, a training business, and then a couple of SaaS platforms. I always wanted to do something in manufacturing, but then I did not have the money to do so. When I could make some money out of the previous businesses, I thought, okay, let's do something in this field. And I was kind of okay with food business, and momos was something that I knew very well. I had people who knew making momos, so I brought them all the way from Silchar to Hyderabad, and I started the business. Put some money into it, and I started it. My DRDO experience, in fact, did help me a lot with colleagues helping me with automating processes and growing it. But then essentially, it was a set of trying to figure out what actually clicks for me and what does not. So I always leant back on something which involved innovating something, trying something new out, solving a problem through technology. And that actually led me to start Zomos back in the day. And the problem that came up very early on, that in fact enthused me to kind of utilize the innovation and I would say the bent of mind that I had, I always had, and that in fact fueled me through to grow Zomos.
So in a way, all these disparate experiences, right from Silchar through to NIT, through to DRDO, through to ISB, in a sense, all of them helped you in different ways in your path to becoming a momopreneur, so to speak.
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
Correct. Now, in the same vein, it's very interesting when you told me how you got your two co-founders, and they were also working, I believe, in Deloitte, and they took this up, your franchisee of sorts, of your Momo in Hyderabad to operate on the weekends. Correct. And then they decided that, hey, you know what, we are better off becoming co-founders of a Momo enterprise rather than work for Deloitte. Can you just tell us how this whole thing, because finding co-founders who are aligned is very, very challenging, especially for an entrepreneur.
In fact, if you have the wrong co-founder, your business can go kaput. I'm lucky to have great co-founders with me, and both these guys they were consultants with Deloitte, as you mentioned. In 2018, they came to Hyderabad and they thought of starting something as a side business. And they came to me and said, we feel this brand has a lot of potential. We want to take a franchisee in a mall in Hyderabad. I knew that that mall was not that great, and I told them, no, I don't think this is going to do well. What they did was, over the next couple of weekends, they went to the mall, they sat there, spoke to customers, and then they created a survey and a report showing that there is definitely a gap there and momos would do well. And I was very impressed with, these guys, and they actually did some work, and then they came with data, and then they showed me that, this is going to do well, and I gave them the franchisee. 1 year down the line, they realized that this business has the potential to grow because they called it the hard work that was standardizing the product and automating it. All these things were done, and all it needed was to grow this business properly. And they saw me. I was the only person with all blue collar employees under me. So all I was doing was, yes, thinking of innovation and tech, and number two, grappling with operations. And they saw that there were a lot of inefficiencies there. In fact, I was impressed by the way they utilized data to drive decisions, which was not that strong in me. And I realized that, if we join hands, it could be something that we could build together. And they told me that, we want to leave Deloitte and we want to join your company. And I said, is talk to your parents, because if you leave a great job at Deloitte and you join a food company that nobody knows about, you have to deal with all the judgment that would come your way. And they said, no, we are okay with doing that, and they joined. So Shreyas Darne was one of the co-founders. He took over operations. He standardized SOPs. He standardized training processes and audits, and that ensured that we could open an outlet anywhere in India. Akash Singh, who was the other co-founder, he came in and took over finances of the company, and I could see profitability increasing in a couple of months itself. So I saw adding them was a great decision that I had taken. It was, in fact, one of the inflection points for us to think that, we could take Zomos and scale beyond these one, two cities, and it could be a pan-India brand. So yes, it was, I would say luck was one factor, yes. But then at the same time, all these co-founders, all the three of us, we have one single goal. So we don't, uh, somebody doesn't have the idea that, I want to take the company that way. So we ensure that all of us have that one single goal. And if we do not agree on with one another on certain point, we kind of debate it out and then find out the best possible outcome. So this, in fact, I feel has been a great learning experience for me as well. That yes, in order to scale a business and grow a business, you need good people and you need people who are smarter than you to run things in your business.